to Colorful Colorado Collaborations. I am Alicia Bruce Trujillo, tonight with Collaboration 3, the Dark Goddess collaboration. I have my guest, Asetu Shango, who is the Dark Goddess poet, the Dark Goddess coach, and kind of our entrepreneur for this one. I've also got my co-founder, Celeste Martinez. We are waiting for Melete of Whittier Cafe to be here. Kayla Marque actually could not be here tonight. She's not feeling very well, but we do have this introduction.
I never thought my life would look like this.
Check, mic check, yeah, 2, check.
I never wanted to be a leader. I never wanted to be an influence. I really didn't want to be a spectacle or entertainment. The thought of being an artist terrified me because it requires a deep level of vulnerability to actually make an impact. I thought being delicate and vulnerable was a curse. So I ran from myself for a long time.
Y'all still got some energy?
And then I realized every time I got on stage was a once-in-a-lifetime experience. You never have the same crowd, the same energy, the same venue. And I realized how special that was. Love should feel like water. I'll make good at your ocean blue, 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 blue. I am more than just a singer. I am a storyteller. I am a sound healer. I am a creator. And what I once thought would destroy me is the very thing that gives me life. And this is just the beginning.
Kayla Marque for Colorful Colorado Collaborations. Unfortunately, she is sick tonight. We were so looking forward to her live performance, as was she. But we've got some more live music coming. And before we get started, just want to do a quick land acknowledgement. Of course, we are streaming live from Denver, which is occupied Ute, Arapaho, and Cheyenne land. I am Alicia Bruce Trujillo, co-founder and host of Colorful Colorado Collaborations, here with Asetu Shango, who is kind of our entrepreneur for our third collaboration, and also with Celeste Martinez, my co-founder. So if you are new to Colorful Colorado Collaborations, Celeste can kind of walk us through what this is.
Yeah, definitely. Colorful Colorado Collaborations is a celebration of Black, Indigenous people of color who are entrepreneurs, musicians, and small businesses. Together, I reached out to Bruce earlier this year, and as I started to launch my business, I was like, what's a creative way to just share with people what I'm up to, and also really elevate our community. I feel like oftentimes Denver is not really recognized for the BIPOC community that we have, and so it's important to center our experiences, especially in this time around entrepreneurship and everything in between. So we've been having some really powerful collaborations throughout this season. We started in September with collaborations with Lolita, Lady Justice, and myself. You can still check out what's up with Lady Justice and Lolita. We also collaborated with Pink Hawks, Alejandro Flores Munoz, and Dos Luces Brewery for the Andaki Hustle collaboration. And now we are on Dark Goddess, and this entire experience has just been so magical. And the last thing I'll say about it is that many of our collaborators all participated in a fellowship called Transformative Leaders for Change. And that's actually where Asetu and I met last year. We were fellows in that program. And that fellowship is really about empowering, really about healing, supporting the development of leaders of color here in Colorado who are committed to social justice in so many different forms. And our participation in that, I feel like not only allowed us to build friendship and community together, but also like recognize ways that we could be even greater leaders, transformational leaders in our community. And so I'm just so grateful that we've come together for this collaboration, and our last collaboration will actually celebrate that fellowship and feature another fellow from last year, Bianca McCann, as our musician. So I'm sure Bruce will tell you more later on, but just in case you're new to what we are up to, that's a little bit about it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you for explaining that, because I don't know if I have the capacity to do it today. Well, it's great to see you on our stream, and Asetu. I am so excited to interview you. And yeah, if you like, so you are a poet. You are a coach, but let's start off with the poetry. Last week, you actually hosted an event here at Whittier Cafe, a poetry night with some of your fellow poets around town, including Bobby Lefebvre, also Bianca McCann, and plenty more. You can still go and check that out on our YouTube. But you mentioned that you got into poetry in high school with Bianca, kind of introducing you to that. So tell me more about stepping into that role as a person, and becoming a poet first.
Yeah, so I was a sophomore in high school, and like most high schoolers, was completely lost and unsure of myself. I was also 6'4" since 8th grade, so I had a lot of like limbs to try and figure out what to do with. And so Bianca McCann, Ken Arkine, and Panama Soweto all came to my school as slam poets and did their thing for an hour. I went and saw it twice, and it just stuck with me, and it just struck me. And so I started memorizing their poetry, writing my own, and then the first time I performed, it was like auditioning for a high school talent show. And I just literally walked home barefoot, screaming at the top of my lungs, like, this is my passion, I found it. And it was just this sense of like, in my body, like figuring out how to occupy this body and this being, and poetry was the way in.
And you are also Aurora's Poet Laureate, and so you've been doing this for quite some time. And I love that you put it that way, as it's a way to like find yourself in your body and be comfortable in your human form. So as an evolution, also now you're doing coaching and working with Black femmes and finding joy and wholeness in that. So tell me how the poetry evolved into this coaching.
Yeah, so poetry has always been my means to heal, my means to find myself, my means to find my voice. And then, you know, finding that, stepping into that, becoming a full-time artist, making money solely through my art, not having to answer to anyone, which was really important to me. And then seeing fellow folks that I love, particularly Black femmes, who I see have tons of power in their body, but are unintegrated, like have unhealed parts that are keeping them back, telling them the story that they must stay small, or that they can't do it, or that they're not enough. And so it was sort of a natural avenue for me to be like, I've done all of this healing. I've also worked as a mental health worker, so I have that background as well. And I'm like, I can help my folks step into their power, and that's really what I wanted to see. So I was just like, let's go for it.
This is it. And so this collaboration is the Dark Goddess collaboration, and you had mentioned something last week during the poetry night, that you speak for the Dark Goddess, and through like the Dark Goddess speaks through you, and you were kind of the Dark Goddess. So tell me a little bit more about how this came together. Yeah.
Yeah, so that continues to evolve, and I look back at the poetry that I've written over the last decade, and I'm like, oh yeah, the Dark Goddess is there and there and there, and speaking through me and using me. And so it is still very much a relationship that I'm uncovering. It's a very mysterious relationship. But essentially what I gather is that, so the Dark Goddess, and I'm, you know, I have poetry about this, the Dark Goddess is the beneath, the buried, the rest, the death, the black, the demon, the devil, all of these things that, and I have this poem where I like list all of those things, and at the end I say, I am all the parts of God that you don't see as holy. And so really the dark goddess is that holistic integration of all of the parts of ourselves that we want to run away from, that we want to say, oh, anger, oh, sadness, oh, fear, I don't deal with that. And then look at how that splits us in two. Look at how that disables us to be fully human.
And we were talking about this a little bit before we got started here tonight, kind of exploring that a little bit more during quarantine and sitting with your aloneness. You had mentioned that you do live with your partner, but being alone and being alone in a different space because nobody can go out, you can't go out. So talk a little bit more about that, and kind of, did you find the dark goddess even a little bit more during 2020?
Yes, hugely. And naming it that, this was really, like, I started using kind of dark goddess, like playing with it last year, but yeah, that aloneness and sitting with it. And it was when the quarantine hit, so rewind 8 years ago after the Aurora shooting. I live very close to the Aurora Theater. I woke up that morning, I was staying at my Reiki master's house, and I woke up to all of these spirits, like, it's the time of the warrior, like, there's going to be protests, there's going to be a lot of violence, you're not meant to be there. They were like, you are meant to be a healer, and you are meant to be for the rebuild. So it was like 8 years of like constantly being, you know, spiritually told that I'm not supposed to go to the protests because there's going to be this time, this moment, this shift when we're really focusing on what the vision of the rebuild looks like. And so when the quarantine hit, that message came through of like, it's now. And so that was when I launched the Dark Goddess healing coaching that I do. And yeah, so that's what I'm here to do, is like, okay, great, all of this has to crumble because it's never worked for anybody. And what does the tomorrow look like? This is never going to be the same. What does that look like?
And coaching obviously looks different per individual, per entity that you are working with, but maybe give a little example of what you do within your coaching and who you do work with. And I know that you're expanding your coaching a little bit more into the future, which you're a little bit reluctant about, but you're going to do it.
Yes, I am. So the Black Femme coaching is, there's a program, I have like videos online that lead you through the therapeutic methodologies, the writing techniques that I use to uncover the parts of us that are unintegrated, and really what does it mean to sit with them and accept them and love them, because that's what we're all looking for at a core level, and how can we give that to ourselves to become whole instead of constantly looking out. So there's a video series, and then I do I talk to my client for an hour once a week, and that's where we're really using the intuitive power of like, okay, now what do you specifically need? And it's just incredible, the transformations that come even when they just say yes and sign up.
Do you ever get inspired to be like, oh my God, this is like, just like overjoyed by seeing your clients grow and like
yes, and just shocked by what's happening for them and how much movement can happen in just a short time.
Amazing. All right, so this is our Dark Goddess collaboration. This is Colorful Colorado Collaborations. And of course, the amazing Maleta is here. We are at Whittier Cafe, by the way. And so all throughout October, you can get the Dark Goddess Mocha Mint. And I highly recommend it. I've had it maybe 6 times since its release last week. I'm not exaggerating.
Me too.
Yeah, it's so delicious. So Maleta, thank you so much for hosting and for working with SA2 on making this drink.
Oh, thank you. Oh my gosh. Thank you.
If you haven't been to Whittier Cafe, it is an establishment in this community. Tell me about creating this space and this cafe and kind of the story behind it.
Yeah, absolutely. So Whittier Cafe is an African espresso bar in the Whittier neighborhood, and we have a very specific purpose around social justice and kind of being a place of healing for people. So I feel like in this war that we are in right now as a people, people are trying to figure out where they fit in and what type of warrior they are and what's happening right now. And the cafe, I feel like there are some people who, you know, they grab the bullhorn and they go downtown and they're marching and they're doing that, but that's not everybody's role, right? So the cafe, I feel like, which sometimes I talk about as a person because I feel like it's taken on its own identity and so much, especially if you know the history of this very gentrified area that we're in. The fact that we're just here is huge. I describe the cafe as being kind of a landing place for people when they feel attacked or hurt or frustrated or confused and just don't know where to go. And it's interesting how many people will come here and just say, I didn't know where to go. I mean, it happens all the time. And I just feel so privileged that we're a place where people can come and they feel safe. So that's a big part of who we are in our cafe. And it's such an honor to do this with Aset too. I love this woman so much. I've watched her from afar and she's such a goddess. So to be able to create a drink for her, it's the first time we've ever created a drink for anyone. So, and it was so natural and so easy to do. And so I'm thankful.
Yeah, expand on that process a little bit more too. I love hearing these stories. This is our third collaboration, so kind of hearing the inspiration from the people that are in the collaboration. And I was getting a little bit behind the scenes information. I'm like, oh, they're choosing the drink today. So like, tell me about how you came up with the Dark Goddess.
So we have the best baristas ever, and so I asked everyone just to come up with their ideas, and everyone was throwing all these different things out. But I'll tell you that I actually came up with your drink. Ultimately, I chose my own. Just kidding. There were lots of good ideas, but the mint and the mocha, which is a classic combination. We have a twist to it where we use oat as well. But it just reminded me of you. Just the sweetness of chocolate, but it still has a little bite. You know what I mean? And the mint to just throw your senses off a little bit. It's you. Like, you come into a room and you have this sweetness to you, and then you're like, watch out. You know what I mean? So sweet and strong, says my barista, and she's so right. So right. But it's you. It was just like, as soon as we tasted it, we're like, yeah, that's it. That's the one. So, yes.
I love it. And you can get the Dark Goddess Mocha Mint throughout the month of October, along with the video for Mercy from Kayla Marque, who was supposed to be here tonight to perform, but she's not feeling well. We do have some music videos coming up. But just one more question, Melete.
Sure.
So this is a safe haven for people in the community, especially for activists in the community. The bathroom has all of the signs up in it from different protests and everything. How do you see the cafe continuing to be that moving into, I mean, especially the next couple of months?
Dang, that's such a good question. And it's a little bit of a scary question too, because fortunately we have a huge patio, so we've been able to do some stuff with distancing on the patio, but we're coming on winter and the cold months and our space is so small inside, so we know we've got to figure something out in terms of how can we still serve people, like the literal part of how do we do this. But the bigger thing is we have had to redefine how we show up in the struggle right now, because like I said, we're a gathering place, so we would have, it's not an exaggeration, hundreds of people here. I mean, it's crazy. Our patio's full, the streets are full, the neighbors are wonderful because they love it, and they're there too, so they don't complain or call the city. But now we can't do that, obviously. So we're trying to figure out, like, how do we still do this? How do we still touch people when we're being told don't touch people? You know what I mean? Like, literally. So it's actually kind of a pain point for us right now, and we're trying to figure out how we can still do this. So I have to be honest with you, I don't know. We haven't really been able to figure it out completely, but I will say little things keep happening. Like, we had two friends who came to town from somewhere, two black women, another state, and they wanted to go to the protests downtown, and so they came here to pick up signs in our bathroom. I have no idea how they knew that we had them. Obviously it was somewhere online when they were Googling and searching, but they came and picked up signs, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, it didn't occur to me that that would be one way that we can show up in this moment. So we're still trying to define and figure it out, but either way we'll be here. I think just coming here and being able to have a cup of coffee and just smile and talk with our baristas, I think that's healing too, in a time when people are so afraid of each other. Here's a place you can come and we're not afraid of you, and we're still going to be safe and do all those things, but we're kind of redefining some of that now.
Whittier Cafe, ever the community resource and safe haven.
Yes.
Well, let's get to some music from Kayla Marque. Of course, she is not able to be here, as I've stated, but we do have a couple of new songs from her. She's got a new EP coming out on Halloween called Right Brain, and we've got a new single from her called Love Should Be Like.
Love should feel like water. I'll make good at your ocean blue, 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 blue. Love, 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 love. She tastes like chocolate. you kiss, you touch, you taste, you breathe, you see, you need you. Love should burn like fire. Suffocate my flesh and shake my soul alive. Love should be the answer. wine and miracles. 'Cause I like the way you're intoxicating me. Feels right, but it's ungodly. It's devilish. Ooh, this fire feels just like heaven to me, and I don't mind if God plays the devil for this. I'll pay no mind when God blames the devil for this. Descendant of the sun and the sky, you are king to be. You are king to be. I lay my robe at your shrine, and I spend all of my days worshiping the way your eyes dress, your smile, 'cause I like the way you're intoxicating me. Feels right, but it's ungodly. It's devilish. Ooh, this fire feels just like heaven to me, and I don't mind if God plays the devil for this. I'll pay no mind when God blames the devil. Go blame the devil. We could be gods or be devils, there's demons inside and angels to level them. The mind's in asylum, wanna run wild, waiting for someone to let me out. What kind of monster summoned the darkness out in the garden, huh? That kind of evil only comes round because of the garden, yeah. Check out your duality, check into reality, makes you question your sanity. I am Adam, I am Eve, I am the forbidden knowledge. Yeah, I am the apple tree, I am the serpent that slithered through Eden and made you choke on mortality. 'Cause I like the way you're intoxicating me. Feels right, but it's ungodly. It's devilish. Ooh, this fire feels just like heaven to me, and I don't mind if God blames the devil for this.
Kayla Marque, and that's actually her Equinox session that was just released earlier this week. What is
I'm
time?
pretty sure it was Wednesday.
Yeah, so recently, this is a
Yesterday.
very brand new video, God Blame the Devil. Kayla, unable to be here tonight for Colorful Colorado collaborations, but that doesn't mean we can't celebrate her and her music.
Truly.
She's actually got a ton of stuff coming up throughout the month of October, kind of a virtual tour is what she'd call it, on her takeover of our Instagram earlier today. So if you want to get a little bit more behind the scenes with Kayla, you can head over to Colorful CO Collabs on Instagram. I am Alicia Bruce Trujillo here with Celeste Martinez, finishing up our Dark Goddess collaboration, which has been a damn treat, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, just incredible all the way around, all the way around. And if you want to catch Kayla and on this virtual tour, we will be sharing that as well. Headroom Sessions is the next stop on that virtual tour on October 17th. So save the date for that because it just seems like it's going to be a huge treat. And we're so grateful to share all of this incredible music videos that Kayla has put together and directed herself.
Yeah, she's the artistic director of
Yeah.
all of her stuff, which I didn't know until earlier today. but amazing because she's an artist, of course.
Truly.
And so before we get into our featured single from Kayla Marque, which has been a part of the Dark Goddess collaboration, got to thank In Light of Me Media for doing audio and visual. Also, of course, Whittier Cafe and Malete for their collaborative part in this, Setu as well, and of course, Kayla. I always got to thank Celeste Martinez for being my co-founder. And also kind of want to announce our next collaboration, which is the TLC collaboration featuring the music of Bianca McCann. Do you want, and Rose House Botanics, by the way, down on South Broadway. Do you want to talk a little bit more about this upcoming one?
Yeah, so this next theme is called TLC, which stands for not Tender Love and Care, but Transformative Leadership for Change. And this is actually a fellowship program for Black, Indigenous people of color here in Colorado who are involved in the social justice movement. And we will actually be launching a fundraiser for TLC and that fellowship to continue its success into 2021. So our goal is actually to raise $2,500. We're partnering up with Rose House Botanical, which is all pure magic, by the way, and we're really grateful that you get to experience Bianca performing with some special guests that we're not going to tell you until the day of the performance because it's just that good. And her performance will be on October 22nd at 8 p.m. from Rose House. You can follow us on our YouTube channel to enjoy that. And if you want to donate to our efforts for Transformative Leadership for Change, you can donate at paypal.me/colorfulcollabs. And collabs has one L. So if you find us on Instagram, this is the same on PayPal. And it's the same on Facebook, and it's the same on our website. So once you connect, you're connected forever. And feel free to donate to really support that incredible fellowship that myself and many of our collaborators have been a part of.
Indeed. And we are hopefully going to do something with Kayla Marque when she's feeling a little bit better, maybe next week. Maybe have a little performance, do an interview. We will keep you updated. But we will go out on Mercy, which is the featured single for our Dark Goddess collaboration. I am Alicia Bruce Trujillo. Thank you so much for joining us for our third collaboration.
I'm tipping the world now, shape-shifting inside out, unmasking disaster, basking in the aftermath, no life for the Here today, gone tomorrow, running like a wildfire, moving like a cloud of smoke right under your nose. Come unwind, your spirit's wounded, your mouth's a tomb and your eyes are ruins. They'll bury you, bury you, bury you, bury you. Here today, gone tomorrow, running like a wildfire, moving like a cloud of smoke right under your nose. Tell me why your soul is muted, your body's stone and your feet are rooted. What's scaring you? Scaring you? What's scaring you? Scaring you? I'm tipping the world now, shape-shifting inside out, unmasking disaster, basking in the aftermath, no life for the living. decide.